What's up guys, and welcome to the channel. My name's Micah, and today we're gonna do a 3,000 round follow-up review on our Beretta APX. This pistol has by far exceeded all of my hopes and expectations, and I absolutely think this is the best striker-fired handgun that you can buy currently. So we're just gonna go over what I really like about this pistol, how it's performed for me, if I had any problems or not, and just kind of cover some of the changes I've made to it since I first bought it. So without further ado, let's dive right in, guys. And before we get too far along, I'll definitely show you that the pistol is unloaded, so you can see that there is nothing in our chamber there, and of course that magazine is empty and safe. So safety is first, guys. That's extremely important, and we always want to be on top of that. So I first got this pistol, about 8 months ago now, and yes, I put 3,000 rounds into it, almost to the T. And I had first gotten this pistol because I hadn't really heard anything about them. It caught my eye at my local gun shop, so I kind of looked them up. I liked what I saw. I went back to that gun shop and I purchased one here, and that was probably the best purchase that I've ever made as far as firearms go. So you can probably see that the lower frame on it now is an olive drab color, kind of that forest or sage green. With this pistol being modular, the serial number is just on the trigger assembly in the gun. So the slide, the lower frame, all that can be switched out very easily. You don't need a permit of any sort to go and buy those parts. So I had ordered that lower frame from Beretta.com directly. I've seen these from different other gun stores online and things like that. From Beretta directly, I believe I paid $45 for the lower frame. I've seen them as cheap as $35 and kind of as much as $50. So this is my original black frame here. It does have the olive drab back strap on it because I wanted to do the black original back strap, so I kind of like the whole two-tone with the black slide, the black back strap, but then have the olive drab frame there. So I just put the original, the medium-sized back strap on my black frame, but when you get this, it just comes with a little piece of plastic in it, so it kind of holds its shape well as it's being shipped to you. But that's it. There's nothing really to it, and there's just a couple pins here, a couple holes. You push those pins out, your trigger assembly comes out, you set it right in, put your pins back in. It's the easiest thing in the world to switch these out. And I've seen the olive drab ones, so you have the green. I've seen the flat dark earth, so you have the tan ones. There's also like a galaxy silver, kind of a slate gray one. So you have a few different options for colors, and then you can get ones that have finger grooves or ones that don't have finger grooves. I'm a sucker for finger grooves. I've always liked them. They're not anything crazy. They're barely pronounced, but it just gives that pistol a really good feel in your hand. I love the finger grooves on this gun. I still say that this is the best feeling handgun I've ever felt compared to anything else. I've shot a lot of other pistols. I have a lot of friends with a lot of different guns. I worked at a gun shop for a while as a range safety officer and salesman. I've handled quite a few pistols, and I still say that this is the best feeling handgun I have ever held in my entire life. In the 3,000 rounds that I've put through this pistol so far, I have never had one jam, one malfunction, one light primer strike, any primer drag, nothing. I've never had a problem with this Beretta APX. I did not even clean this pistol until about the 2,500 round mark. Some people will preach that you should clean your gun after every time you go to the range. Well, that's not what we do here. We put these things to the test and we just shoot them until they drop. And this thing never dropped. So I kind of just cleaned it because I was bored one day. So I have absolutely been impressed with everything about this gun. We'll kind of just walk around the gun. I'll go over some of the features that I've really grown to love, some of the pros of this gun that I think put it above just everything else out there as far as the striker-fired duty pistol goes. So starting at the front, you know, in my first review, I had said that the sights on this, that front dot is bigger than the rear dots. And it does just help in acquiring your sights very quick. You know, if you want to practice finding your sights with both of your eyes open and practice using your dominant eye versus having just one eye closed. This is a great pistol to learn that with, to practice those skills with. Even the rear dots are pretty good size, you know, compared to my Beretta 92 FS. The rear dots are bigger than my 92. The front dot is significantly bigger than the front dot on my 92. So while I would say that maybe I'm more accurate as far as precision target shooting goes with my 92 FS, I can acquire my sights much quicker with this pistol here. And then the sights are metal, so of course we love that right out of the box. You do have that nice sharp angle here, 90 degrees from your slide here. So if you ever needed to rack that slide on your belt or holster, we love to see that right out of the box. The slide on this gun is kind of what makes it stand out from everything else. When you're shopping around at the gun store, you know, these slide serrations are just kind of like no other pistol. They're big, they're large, they're pronounced, they go from the rear all the way to the front. And I absolutely love them. It's so practical. You can literally just grab that slide anywhere and it just feels so good in your hand. When you're going to do your press checks or whatever it may be, you can grab that slide wherever you want. I really just do love the serrations on this. I think they are the best of any other striker fired pistol I've ever held. So I had gotten a few comments from people in my initial review of this gun saying that they thought that the slide was very hard to rack on this gun. That they had a problem doing that them and their buddies, you know, had an awful hard time pulling the slide back, racking the slide, going through the motions compared to everything else. And it's because with the way the slide serrations are, these big slide serrations that just go straight down on the gun, the slide was meant to be grabbed with your hand completely over it like this. That's how it's gonna feel the best in your hands. You know, if you try and rack this gun just by using your finger and thumb and pull it back like this, yes, it's extremely hard. I can't even hardly do it myself. And that's not a good practice to be in. You should always just practice racking your slide with your hand completely over it. That is what's gonna give you that firm, positive feel. It's gonna let you just rack that slide back every single time without a problem. So I suspect that's the source of most people's complaints when they say that it's hard to rack the slide on these, is that with the way the serrations are, if you try and rack the slide like this, your hand just slips off. Your hand needs to be completely on the side with a very firm grip. You will have no problem if you rack it like that. One thing I do like on the lower frames of these is that you get this little texture here right in front of your takedown lever. And so with the grip I like to do, my left thumb perfectly finds that. I set my right thumb on top of my left thumb. It's just kind of a spot where as soon as my thumb feels that, I know it's where it needs to be. So I do like to see little textures right there on different pistols. Not all your striker fired or duty pistols, you know, are gonna have that, but of course I like to see that. It's a small thing that makes a world of difference to me. As far as the takedown on this gun goes, you know, it's just super easy. I absolutely love it. So you have this little button that you'll push on the right side of the pistol here. It kind of pushes out your lever on the left side, so we'll push that. We flick this lever down like that, and it just releases the top. It's so simple, it's so intuitive, anybody can do it. It's just very simple, it's very bulletproof, so, you know, things like that make a difference to me. And just like that, it's back together. So, another thing I do like is gonna be the size of your slide lock here. So the slide lock is a funny thing, because if it's too big, your thumb will ride it, and when your magazine is empty, you know, it will not lock your slide back if that is too big. If it's too small, sometimes it is hard to actuate. Or if you use it as a slide release, sometimes it is hard to get your thumb on there and press that down to release your slide. You know, I think the placement of this, I think the size of it is just perfect. I have no complaints, no critiques. I wouldn't change anything there. I do love how squared off this trigger guard is. It just gives you so much real estate in here compared to everything else. I think my finger has the most room when it's on the trigger of any other handgun I've felt. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You could have your biggest winter gloves on and you will have plenty of room still left in there. That's just well thought out. It makes a world of difference. I will say that the trigger on this has smoothed up so much from when I first bought it. It is so linear, it surprises me every time when it goes off. It's just a consistent pull all the way back until it fires. I am absolutely in love with this trigger. I think it's one of the best triggers on any striker fired gun, which is funny. People always think like the Walthers, some of the HKs, different other striker fired pistols, you know, being known for their triggers. I think these APXs have a wonderful trigger. Some people will say it's spongy. I don't think so at all. I think it's a consistent pull start to finish, and I never even feel the wall. It just constantly is the same weight as I'm going back, and it just breaks, you know? And so I like to be surprised by that trigger. I just hold my sights on the target, and then I will press that trigger and just hold my gun where it needs to be. You know, I don't hit a wall that I have to break through that makes me dip the end of my barrel. I think the triggers are spot on these. When they're brand new, they're a little bit crispier, and then by about, maybe the 200 or 300 round mark, they just become the smoothest, most buttery trigger you can imagine. You know, as far as the magazine release goes on this, you know, it's fairly pronounced on there. It is very easy to find with your thumb and actuate. I have never had one problem with this. It can be switched around to the right side, so having that option kind of accommodates all of us shooters extremely well. You know, and from the factory, your slide lock is ambidextrous, so you find that on the right side and the left side. So the gun can be completely ambi right out of the box. That's very cool. You know, as we move on down, the textures that you'll find on your lower frame, the back strap, kind of all sides of the grip here is just wonderful. You know, you get this nice checkering on the front, you get kind of a sandpapery texture on the sides, and then you find that perfect checkering on the rear as well. Like I said, I do like the finger grooves. They're nothing crazy, they're slightly pronounced, and your hand just perfectly grips that pistol every single time. The grip is not too round, it's kind of an oval shaped, so as soon as your hand's on it, you don't even really have to look at where your pistol's pointing. With that oval shape, you just know the direction that your pistol is in. You don't have to look at it. As far as the magazines, you know, you do get a nice little foot on them there. The sides and the front are slightly pronounced, so if you ever needed to strip that magazine out of there, that gives you something to grab onto. It's well thought out. It's a very small detail, but a very nice gesture. And then kind of the beaver tail on this lower frame comes out really nice. It feels great against the web of your hand, and my hand can just get so high up on that frame. I mean, I am just about at the slide when I grip this pistol, so that gives you a really low bore access. You don't get a ton of muzzle flip from this gun. It's more just a firm push back, so it makes for very quick follow-up shots. I just cannot say enough good things about the ergonomics and the build of this gun. And then once you factor in how reliable it's been for me, the accuracy that I can get out of it, just everything about it, this gun is insane. As far as dimensions and capacity, you know, it's 17+1. It's like the same size as everything else. It's very comparable. And when this gun first came out, you know, this gun was designed for the XM17 competition. So that was a competition for the US military handgun contract. So a bunch of different manufacturers made pistols, or submitted pistols rather, to possibly, you know, get this military contract to be the handgun used by the United States Armed Forces. The APX was Beretta's submission. It did not win. The Sig P320 won that, which don't even get me started on that. But so with this gun being made for that contract, I think Beretta was hoping to get it because they previously held that contract with the Beretta 92, the M9. And so when Sig got the contract with the P320, I think Beretta was like, holy crap. Well, we've made a lot of these guns and we were planning to get that contract. We didn't. So when it first came out, the APX was priced at $575. Years later, so that was in 2017, it's 2022 now, the MSRP of this gun is $399. And people are frequently getting them for around $350, $360, $370. I mean, this is insane. What pistol has gone down in price over the last 5 years? None of them, except for this APX. So to get this pistol at the $399 price point, absurd. You should go out and buy one right now. You should go out and buy two. Tell you what, I did. I bought another APX. I love this thing so much that I went out and bought another recently. It's been such a good gun for me that, yeah, I went out and bought another one. So if that doesn't tell you that I truly think this gun is the best striker-fired handgun you can buy, I don't know what will. These things have just been time tested now. They've been put through the ringer, the torture test. They passed with flying colors. I have put mine through the ringer and it has absolutely just been a workhorse for me. I've had zero problems in 3,000 rounds. It feels better than when I bought it brand new. The slide, the trigger, everything is just getting better and better with every box of ammo I put through it. And I am not trying to mislead anybody in any which way. I have zero sponsors. I get money from nobody for doing this. My YouTube channel is not monetized. I'm just telling you the flat out honest truth. I think this gun is the best pistol, striker fired pistol that is, that you can buy right now. On top of that, it's $399. I would literally pay probably $700 or $800 for one of these if they were priced at that. I literally think it's the best striker-fired handgun. It is! So I'm gonna quit rambling about this, but if you ever do find a Beretta APX, I would buy it. I think it's gonna be a great handgun for you. These have been great handguns for me. You know, if I see another one, I'm probably gonna buy it, so then I'll have three. I think this truly is the modern day Italian masterpiece, and I am very happy that I found them. I'm very happy that I initially got one. So 5 stars all around as far as accuracy, reliability, ergonomics, overall build and quality. They're all 10 out of 10, guys. I cannot say enough good things about these guns. So like the video if this helped you out, subscribe if you want to see more, and until next time, have a great night, guys.